So, hi, you guys. Welcome to today's live stream, which is I was making specifically for the people who have taken the intro to my seasonal food therapy course. It's an online course, and we started last weekend. So, with that course, we have an intro which focuses on the foundations of five element theory. That's from traditional Chinese medicine. And then also we have the five elements. So each element is covered by a different day. So I wanted to kind of, because there were a lot of people who weren't, in healthcare, or, there were some chefs that were on there, just, people who are just interested generally in living healthier lifestyles. So I just wanted to bring this on to put some things in like super general terms that helped me when I was in school. So I'm in Arusha, Tanzania, and Africa Integrative Medicine is an organization that has a mission for supporting projects for healthcare, education, and community development. So my background is for medical or wellness is in spa and traditional Chinese medicine. So acupuncture, herbs, and medical massage. So that's where I have a formal education in that kind of stuff, so I can speak intelligently on these things. So I wanted to just, again, put some things in layman's terms. So traditional Chinese medicine is basically a system of balancing your health and your organ systems in your body. So your organs are part of your body. So, right? So there are some concepts that come up a lot, or some terms that come up a lot that some people may not be familiar with. So one of them is yin and yang. Those are two different terms, but yin and yang. And those are the opposites, right? To get things to be in harmony, or to neutralize something, harmonize, to bring to balance, you are dealing with concepts of yin and yang, opposites. So yin is more of like dark, yang is light. If you have up and down, yang is up, down is yin. There's also hot and cold. So cold would be yin, hot would be yang. So just in those concepts, like bringing, if you have something going on in your body, that you have things that are really hot, presenting energetically as hot or physically as hot. If you have an acupuncturist, what they're going to do is to do things, and those things could be acupuncture, it could be herbs, it could be touch therapy, it could be any sort of therapy that deals with their training in traditional Chinese medicine. So if you're hot, they have to do things to cool you down, to bring you back to normal. So you're at yang, so now they're bringing you down to your yin state, or the neutral state, to balance things out. And there's even this symbol, the yin and yang symbol, where you have like, it's like a dark symbol and a light symbol with a little bit of the light and the dark, and dark and light. And so what that concept is all about is like from night to day, right? Your 24-hour cycle is always night to day. You're going to see darkness, and then eventually you'll see light again, right? And in the midst of that, they're constantly transforming. So sometimes you don't see as much light, even though the day has come, right? Maybe you've got a cloudy day, so maybe that represents some sort of illness trying to creep in, and then it goes away, right? Because eventually it balances itself out again. The same thing with night. You can't always see the stars in the sky. You can't always see the moon because of cloud cover, but eventually those clouds go away, because it naturally balances itself out. Mm-hmm. So our body systems, if you think of that, and the same type of concept, we're constantly in this thing of balance. So now let's talk about what causes us to get out of balance, right? So there's this other concept called chi. Chi is the energy of your body. So chi, there are different forms of chi. So, this whole thing with traditional Chinese medicine is, um, explaining things in terms of something from ancient times. So ancient medicine, not just Chinese medicine, but ancient medicine uses like metaphors and, stories and, simple concepts to get you to understand about balance, right? So some of the things that I say and some of the things that come up in our class they sound kind of weird. So chi, in essence, is the energy of your body. What does that energy do? So if I'm talking in terms of, scientific terms, right? So if I'm talking in terms of that, with regard to your body systems, I would say, let's say this is your blood, the way the blood moves in the body, the way your hormones push through the body. They're responding like electrical responses, the way your heart pumps, what happens when you breathe, the lungs setting the rhythm for your heart. How can it set the rhythm for your heart? Well, your heart doesn't beat unless you're pulling in oxygen, right? And so when you're breathing in oxygen and you're breathing out carbon dioxide, there's this exchange that takes place. And then, along with this electrical rhythm that moves the heart, that moves the blood, that pumps to the different organs in the body to make the body do what it's supposed to do. Each organ has there are yin and yang pairs. Some are like this and some do this, right? They're doing different things. So this whole thing about 5-element theory is, telling you how to balance all of this out. So I'm going to put up a diagram to my side here and see if we can see that. I'm going to make it bigger. Let's see. Here. All right, I'm going to make me small, right? So this is something, I created my own, so I don't know if it's messy or not, but I hope you can see it. And, if you want a copy of this, definitely you can reach out to me. The email is on the web, streaming across the bottom there, info@africaintegrativeMedicine.org, and I can send you this. I will be sending it to the people who register for my class. But with regards to chi, I'm just going to talk about 3 different forms of chi, right? So there's the chi that you're born with, yuan chi, but I'm just going to call it jing, right? So when you're born with basically everything you need to get life started, right? Your whole life started. And that comes from your parents. So you inherit this. When you pop out, you have your jing. The jing, the essence of your life, is energetically housed in your kidneys. So it makes a little sense if you think in terms of Western medicine or science, when people say, oh, as you get older, the kidneys start to fail. Or, this person, I don't know, we'll just say the kidneys start to fail, because it's the life's essence. And as we go to, we all come through this life as you have a beginning date, an end date, right? So at some point, if you are lucky enough to live a long life, your essence, starts to fade. Okay. So now you're born with the Jing Qi. And then you have this nutritive chi. Where does that nutritive chi come from? So, it sounds nutrition, right? So obviously it comes from things that help your body to do what it needs to do. And what does your body need? It needs food. It needs those things, and your organ systems transform them into something that can be used to keep you living, to keep you healthy. Sometimes those things get out of balance. So the last chi that I'm going to tell you about is the Wei chi. So Wei chi is the defensive or protective chi. And the way that it was explained to me that I really loved, the way my instructor explained it, is basically it's like the first line of defense. When, like the Marine Corps, right? If you're here and you're, the U.S., our Marine Corps, they're the first line of defense when there's a war. And our bodies, if you think about it, when as living creatures, we always have bacteria, viruses, possibly, living on us constantly, right? So our bodies have to keep that out. How does it keep it out? How does it get in? Right? If it's not going through an open, an orifice, if it doesn't get through your mouth or your nose or whatever, how else does it get in? Through your skin, right? Your skin is actually an organ, considered to be an organ. And then your skin has all of these different pores in it, right? So when we're, feeling a little, you have this wei qi that's sitting here. It's sitting there and it's just like, what is this trying to invade today? I'm going to keep it out. So it keeps the pores closed. When your pores are open, they actually let things in. And that's when, sometimes it gets trapped between the layers of the skin. It gets trapped between the layers of the skin, since I'm talking a lot now. It gets trapped between the layers of the skin, and maybe, you have a lot of wind and it pushes through this bacteria or this virus, like a cold, the cold virus. So it gets through, and then your body is like, oh, it got past this first layer of skin, but I'm going to trap it now. And so let's fight it. Right. So sometimes you wonder why I feel really sick all of a sudden, but now I'm shivering, but I'm hot. And, why am I sweating, but I'm cold? Like, what do those things mean? So it means that your defensive chi is working to push that evil, as they call it in traditional Chinese medicine, any kind of disease. It's not like some sort of mystical thing. Any kind of disease is called an evil. If it's trying to get in, you need to get it out, right? So anyway, so those are just some simple, I just wanted to take a few minutes to explain some of that stuff. There is a book that I would recommend. It's called Between Heaven and Earth. I can't remember the name of the authors, but the book is like kind of like an ombre, like green at the top, and then it goes to orange. But Between Heaven and Earth, it is like the book that I got when I first started TCM school. And it was an eye opener for so many things for me when I didn't even know this type of medicine existed, and I love it. So now let's go to our screen share. Boop. Okay. So 5-element theory deals with this whole thing of balance and balancing the elements. The elements relate to a season of the year, and those seasons also relate to an organ system and an organ pair, a yin-yang pair. So I'll start first with the fire element. The fire element is represented by summer. The color is red. The heart and the small intestine are the partnering organs, also the pericardium and the sanjiao. Those are the secondary as protective. So the sanjiao also the upper, middle, and lower. So the upper is like your respiratory system. The middle is your digestive system. And then the lower part, triple warmer, the lower part is your reproductive system. So if you say small intestine, kind of the sanjiao is a part of protecting that small intestine and the digestive system, right? So, and then there's a taste that comes from it. Bitter is the taste of the fire element. So, if you're burning stuff, it's bitter, right? Burn it up, you taste it, and it's like, it's bitter. So it has that taste is the energetic quality that belongs to that element. And the emotion that's tied to it is anxiety. So if you think about like when, your heart is racing because um, you're having whatever type of emotion that comes up that gives you anxiety, it lends to anxiety, and different things could lend to anxiety. Could be fear, could be anger, could be worry, could be anything, right? And why I'm saying all of these things too is that you'll see how everything goes together. Nothing is apart. And we don't treat our clients or patients, as like this doesn't belong to this. Everything is connected in some way or another. So that anxiety is the emotion that's tied to that. And it's red. The color is red. What happens when you get all flushed in the face? Your heart is racing. Red, anxiety. And the elemental the heat is the association with that. So when you feel your face feels flushed, you feel hot, you start sweating. So that is what is associated with that. So then also it is seen in the tongue. So a lot of times, like even some drugs that you may take, pharmaceutical drugs or not, you can see when it is affecting your heart by looking at your tongue. You really can. So that's another class. So we're not going to go too deeply into that, but the blood vessels also belong to that element. So the next one, going into the next, and you'll see these arrows. If you look at the key on the left, bottom left, it says the key. Nourish is this little white curvy arrow. That means it nourishes that next element. Or the other arrows that are looking crazy in the middle, that means that this particular element controls the next element. And so that's how TCM practitioners do. They use this 5-element theory to figure out what points to choose in acupuncture or acupressure to balance out whatever's going on in your body. And they also prescribe herbs to actually do some of the same stuff. So they sometimes use the herbs and the acupuncture in tandem. But just as a system of balance. And the way that we study herbs has to do with where energetically does this particular herb go? Does it go to the spleen? Is it cooling? Is it moistening? Does it go to the lungs? If you need something to moisten the lungs, you feel dry, you've got a dry cough. So there's a lot that goes into this this type of therapy and this type of medicine. It's not something that you learn as a certificate or as a, I don't know, just taking a short course like this. What we're doing is not trying to give you everything that you need to like bypass an acupuncturist or anything like that, or bypass your primary care physician. It is these are just tools to help you to intuitively know when you have a problem that you need some help beyond what you can handle yourself. All right. So the earth element is the next one. So the fire nourishes the earth. So the earth is late summer. So you've got summer, the first part of summer, then you've got the late summer that's going into the fall, right? Eventually. So late summer, the elements are your stomach and your spleen. The the taste is I have this problem a lot, and when I was the energy associated with this one is dampness. So like damp diseases or pathologies, let's say like edema, any kind of swelling, candida albicans, yeast infections and that sort of thing. Anything that feels damp and is not something that keeps you well, that's associated with this element. And you can see that in the mouth. It's also associated with the muscles. So the next element is metal. So metal is for the fall season. The lung and large intestine are the partnering organs for that. And the taste of it is pungent, right? If you think of metal, if you ever have this, like, put metal in your mouth, I know, like, for me, like, anything metal gives me like this really like weird feeling. I don't know, like, it has a weird taste, but I would say pungent. It describes that. And the emotion tied to that is grief. So let me talk about that a little bit, because, we just recently lost my mother, or I'll say our mother. And I know, like, the way we as people deal with grief, we deal with it in different ways. And I know with my own siblings, and one in particular, I would always give her acupuncture around the lung meridians, particularly lung 1 and lung 2, and yin tong, and we would do stomach 36 and do massage and moxa and aromatherapy, all sorts of things to try to open up the lungs, right? The lung is responsible for processing grief. And remember, I said earlier that the lung sets the rhythm for the heart. So if you can think about things that you're grieving about, whether it's the sickness or death of a loved one, or it's the loss of a relationship, loss of a job, grief hits home like hard. And so that lung then changes the rhythm for your heart. And, it is like possible for someone to die of a broken heart. Like, that concept is not a foreign concept to me. Like, it makes great sense. So, like, to even massage those areas and know where the meridians are and that sort of thing. So, the classes that we're bringing forth are just for information, like some things that you can just help yourself with, help yourself to feel better, help yourself to jumpstart these electrical engines, this chi in your body that may be stuck, to jumpstart them into moving where they need to be so that your body can start chugging along the way it should be. So the next element, this is my favorite one by far, and I'll tell you why in a second. So it's water. On the metal one, the color is white, right? So that's why that is white. I put the actual colors because it's metal, like it's shiny, bright, right? So water, it's like black blue. You'll see some people say blue, but it's mostly like black or dark, dark, dark blue. And as water gets deeper and deeper, right? You can't see the bottom of anything. It looks black. It really does. So it's associated with the element of winter. The partnering organs are the bladder and the kidney. The taste is salty, and the emotion tied to it is fear. It's also on the dry side. In the winter, your skin gets dry, right? So this is stuff you already know. So now I'm just giving you some ancient wisdom tied to how do you, oh, did I put dryness on there too? That's wrong. So dryness, I'll fix that. So anyway, what was I saying? But the skin does get dry, and you need to moisten it. You need to drink more fluids, but then it's cold, right? Cold is what I needed to put there. So sorry about that. It's cold at that time, and it's winter. It's always cold, right? Or it should be. And that opens to the ears, and then it's also in the bones, right? You can feel it in your bones, that cold. So why is water my most favorite element? It's because I feel like water can overcome everything. It can overcome everything. And after I explain wood, you'll understand what I mean by that? Now, one thing about the bladder, urinary bladder, um, those points, they're the most, yeah, there are a lot of points for the urinary bladder meridian in Chinese medicine. So the points along the back, we think of it as like when we're growing, like how the spine forms, and along the spine, on either side of the spine, there are two different channels of the bladder meridian. And sometimes, like dealing with fear, you can't overcome it. You feel like you can't move forward. Then that is like that backbone that you need. That's funny, right? So the backbone and the urinary bladder channel is back there. And then that's fear. Fear to move forward. Fear to take that next step, right? So sometimes, even when you're dealing with emotional issues, your acupuncturist can help you with that. And they choose other points as well, because, it's about this whole body system. It's not about picking one meridian, because they're all working together. So sometimes they deal with your, doing acupuncture on your back to help to boost the system back into like giving you the gumption to move forward, right? And so the last one is wood. That is spring. And that one is green. The color is green for that one. The liver and the gallbladder are the partnering organs for that. The taste is sour. The emotion is anger. So, and then there's also the element of, the wind, this notion of wind that goes with that. And so we'll talk a little bit about that, but it opens into the eyes and it's related to your tendons, your sinews. So the spring is the element that we're covering next in our class. So I hope you go and sign up. Even if you missed the intro, this kind of gives you a bit of information, but if you miss the intro and you want the class, you can also message us and we can send you the recording. And you can just pay the fee for the recording, get that recording and get caught up. So every class is recorded. I'm doing the seasonal food therapy with Miss Kimberly Ashton of Chi Food Therapy. She's from Australia. So we're in different time zones while we're doing all of this stuff. But it's really cool. We're sharing recipes and everything. So it's just a really cool class, but I just wanted to kind of finish up this thing about 5-element theory, and then I'm going to let you guys go. So this whole thing with the liver and the gallbladder, the liver is the organ that basically pulls in all of this anger. So I'm speaking energetically now, right? We know that the liver is a part of cleaning the blood if it's scientific, but energetically, it takes in that anger and then it does something with it, right? So what does it do with it? Anger causes heat, right? It's energy, it's building up. I didn't say it was low energy. And when I say energy, I'm talking it's building up something, right? I'm talking like kinetic energy, right? It's not just sitting there, it's doing something. So if kinetic energy creates heat, then heat can cause things to dry. Heat can cause other things to mess up, like you're not supposed to have your computer near heat, right? Why? Because it can damage the motherboard or all of these other sensitive things going on with your computer. The same thing with your body system, right? You can't be angry all the time and think that you're going to be healthy. No. What happens? You're angry all the time about what? And then, so now we're going to look at how these things control the other. One thing that when you're angry a lot, the liver, we call it liver yang rising. Remember, yang is that high energy stuff. So if you already got yang, is the, this notion of heat and up and expanding, then think of your liver every time you're mad and you're holding on to anger, how it's building up. Liver yang rising. Whoosh. Right? And so we're looking at this diagram here as all of these elements, and just think about your body, how your liver is here, your lungs are here, your heart's over here. All of this stuff is like It's really, they're like hugging each other, right? They're hugging each other. So if one acts up and it acts up a lot, the other ones are going to, they're going to get slapped around a little as well. So liver yang rising is sometimes the heat spreads out so much. Now it's over to the spleen, and it's over into the heart. So it's changed everything. It's changed the way you think. It's changed the way you feel. Now you're pooing on yourself. You can't hold yourself. Like even it's so funny. Like my mom would say, we would laugh about it. Like when she would get really upset about something, she would have to go to the toilet. Like not pooing on herself, but she had to go to the toilet. And so sometimes that stuff happens. Like it's just like, how all of a sudden do I feel normal? I got upset about something, didn't know how upset I was, but now I'm in the toilet and I can't hold anything in, right? Not that you want to hold poo in, but you know what I mean? Like it's just flowing. So where does that come from? Because your body just said, I'm letting loose, right? So now, just for this, now if you look at these arrows, so the color correlates to where it's coming from, right? So the wood element controls the earth element. And so now we're talking about opposites as well, right? So what's the opposite of sweet? Sour. And it says it here, right? That's crazy. So, then you have wood actually controls the earth because of this. So let's say this. Just think of it in terms of what the word actually is. Earth is dirt. Wood is like a plant growing, right? So wood holds the earth together. The root systems of trees keep the earth from falling away. That's how it controls the earth in terms of, just explaining how that happens, right? Now, let's see the next element, fire. Fire controls metal. How is that? Well, it's because fire, if you have enough heat, metal melts, right? That's how it can control it. So by balancing things through medicine, food choices, the way you prepare food, acupuncture, acupressure, all sorts of different things, even meditation, like that sort of thing helps. So it's a multifaceted, I would call it even a realm of medicine, right? Or healthcare or wellness, if you will, whatever you want to call it. So now let's go to the next one, earth. Let's see, earth is pointing to water. So earth controls water. How is that? Because I said water was the strongest, right? Well, earth controls water by channeling it, right? So water is between banks, right? There's banks on, if you're at the beach, on one side you've got sand and land, and then at some point you go across that water, you're going to find another piece of land. So it's moving, it's channeling that water. That's its job, and that's how it controls water. So it controls it, in a sense, but water really is very powerful. So I'll get to that in a second. So let's see, metal, it is pointing to wood. How can metal control wood? I'll tell you how. Because metal can cut wood, right? You chop with an axe, that's metal. You're sawing wood, that's metal. You can hold things together like with a press, that's metal holding things together. I forget what you call that clamp thing in wood shop, whatever that thing is called, right? That's metal. Holding wood steady, doesn't move, it controls it. Now, water. Water controls fire. So that's kind of like a no-brainer, right? You take water and you can put out fire. Well, okay. But what else can water do? Water is the strongest. It overcomes everything, really. Because even though earth can channel water, if you got enough water and enough movement with that water, it can erode that earth, right? There's so many things where, it's just like, oh, well, that's going away. Where is that? Water can cover earth. How many, mountains do you have that are underwater? How often do you have like glaciers that are melting and this water is covering earth? So Yeah, Earth channels, but water can still come up. What about tsunamis, right? Right? Tectonic shifts cause these, earthquakes underwater, and this water comes up, whoosh, does its thing. It's conquering Earth. Then about wood. It can rot wood. How long can you leave just wood itself staying in water without it disintegrating? Eventually it will. So then the thing about metal, it rusts metal. So when metal rusts, you can just break that apart. It's like it's nothing anymore. So that's why I say water is the most powerful, because it can be used to bring calm, sereneness. It cleanses things, and it can also be deadly. And that's what you can think about, all of these elements working together to make sure that you have the best health possible. You have to do things to keep it going that way. There's certain things that you shouldn't be eating. I say all things in, I won't say all things in moderation, some things in moderation. There's some things that are just bad for you anyway, so you shouldn't be doing it anyway. But the thing is that the body was made to heal itself. It's made to heal itself. So before this invention of, modern medicine, people were getting well somehow. They figured out how to, use plants or whatever they were eating. People were active with exercise. People aren't doing that stuff anymore. And I know, like with the pandemic, you've got the thing of nutrition, the thing of worry, the thing, like all of this stuff. So all of your stuff is messed up. I know that. I know. So the seasonal food therapy, I think it is, each class is only $40. If you care about yourself, that's nothing for you to do. Just message me, let me know that you want to take the course. Also, you can just go online and pick the date. So we're going in order. This Saturday is wood. The following Saturday is fire. The following is earth, then metal, water, so on. So it's www.africaintegrativemedicine.org. So let me go back to my face. So, I hope this information was helpful. I just remember, I'm going to talk to you without my glasses on now so that you can see my face. But, when things were explained to me, it was that made me love this medicine even more, because I understood it. Like that kind of stuff makes sense. And we'll get into like stuff about what does that wind mean? What is wind, heat? What is damp? Like those types of diseases. And just to give you tools to help you, like you should, definitely when you're choosing a TCM practitioner, you need someone who's gone to the school. Depending on what you're trying to get. Because just like any practitioner, like even a chiropractor isn't going to really do massage on you unless they have a license in massage therapy, right? They're going to refer you to someone or have someone working in the practice that will give you the massage while they give you, adjustments, right? So they want their medicine to work really well. So, the same thing here. It's like, you don't go to someone who says they do acupuncture for acupuncturist treatment, because it's different. Going to a class and learning some points and learning a little bit about yin yang, it's not like, that's not enough. That is not nearly enough to be able to properly diagnose the root cause of someone's issues and then chime in on a treatment plan that works for them. Also, licensed practitioners, and people who have completed the TCM program are able to work effectively with your primary care physician or whoever your other therapists are to create the best plan for you. So, it makes a big difference in who you choose for your therapy. So having said that, NCCAOM is where you can find acupuncturists who are associated with, they've passed certain they've gotten the credentials basically. And then what else was I going to say? I can't even remember. But we'll be doing like gua sha. We'll be talking about that, what that means, cupping, what that means. It's not just for a massage. It's actually a lot more. When we're doing things, it's more than just myofascial release. Why is this red there? What are we really doing? Because in doing those therapies, if you're just doing it like based on a certificate, if it's something like related to, a spa service, like it's kind of frou-frou, that's cool because it feels good. I'm not knocking any of that. It feels really good to get cupping therapy. It feels really good to get gua sha. But also know if you have something really going on with yourself and it's not just about some pain management, that is changing things within your body. It may be subtle. It may be like, and you don't even know what happened. Make sure that you're getting care from the proper source, and that so these little tutorials, I'll say, I know this is like, I can't even see now, sorry. See, um it's just really important that you get the tools that you need to make great choices for your own healthcare. And more and more people are gathering information. People are returning to their source of traditional care and just looking up things themselves. We're intelligent people, right? You've got access to all of this information on the internet. You've got a million classes. You've got a million YouTube, videos to tell you things. But then how do you put that information together to make the best decisions for yourself? So I hope that this is helpful. Again, you can sign up for our seasonal food therapy class at www.africaintegrativemedicine.org. Africa Integrative Medicine is AIM-Tanzania, you guys. So I will see you soon. I'm going to put my glasses back on because I don't even know. I'm going to end this broadcast. So I will see you guys again soon. Oh, I'm late for another one. Okay, bye.